You're telling me humans avoid war? Chirred Dax, his mandibles clacking in disbelief. His antennae twitched, radiating skepticism. Professor Blorp's gelatinous form jiggled with what passed for amusement in Blorvian culture. Oh, dear student, you've stumbled upon one of the galaxy's greatest paradoxes. Humans avoid war because they're exceptionally good at it. The classroom of alien students buzzed with confusion, literally in the case of the insectoids. But Professor, a quivering voice piped up from the back, belonging to a timid Zenovan. I thought humans were primitive. They don't even have telekinesis. Blorp's eye stalks wiggled in mock drama. Ah, but that's where you're mistaken, Uric. Humans don't need telekinesis. They possess something far more terrifying: creativity. A collective gasp rippled through the room. Even the usually stoic Phyrexians looked a little perturbed. You see, Blorp continued, oozing toward the holographic display. Humans have a pesky habit of turning anything into a weapon. Observe. The display blinked on, showing a human holding. Was that a writing utensil? Is that some kind of laser tool? Dax asked, eyes narrowing. Nope, Blorp replied, popping the pea with a slimy bubble. That, my dear students, is what humans call a pen. It's primarily used to transfer information onto the carcasses of flattened trees. But it can also be used to stab someone in the neck. The Zenovan fainted. No one noticed. But surely, an iridic student interjected, if humans are so proficient in warfare, they would engage in it often. Isn't that logical? Blorp's gelatinous body wobbled with laughter. Oh, sweet summer child. Humans avoid war for the same reason you wouldn't challenge a black hole to a sucking contest. It's simply not a fair fight. The room fell silent, save for the quiet groaning of the Zenovan coming to, muttering something about transferring to underwater basket weaving. So, Dax ventured hesitantly, humans are merciful? Bingo! Blorp exclaimed, accidentally spraying a bit of slime in excitement. Give the arthropod a cookie. Humans avoid war out of a strange sense of fairness. They know that if they really unleash their full potential, it wouldn't be a war. It'd be a galactic extermination, and guess who'd be the bugs? The insectoid students chittered nervously. But fear not, Blorp continued, his tone brightening. Humans vastly prefer making friends over making war. They have this quaint saying, make love, not war. Though I'll warn you, their definition of love can be just as terrifying as their wars. As the class bell rang, a bizarre human tradition the university had insisted on keeping, the students filed out, each lost in their own thoughts. Dax lingered, cautiously approaching Blorp's desk. Professor, he asked hesitantly, do you think humans would want to be friends with me? Blorp's gooey form softened. Oh, Dax, humans would befriend a sentient black hole if given the chance. Just maybe don't challenge them to any contests. Trust me on this one. As Dax scuttled away, his mandibles clicked into what might be considered a smile. Blorp chuckled to himself. Humans avoiding war out of mercy. Who would have thought? A few weeks later, Dax found himself in the bustling university cafeteria, a tray filled with brightly colored nutrient cubes. He scanned the room for a place to sit when a booming voice called out, Hey, Bug Eyes, over here! Dax's antennae twitched in surprise. Waving him over was a human, an actual human. Nervous mandible clicks followed as Dax approached the table. You want me to sit with you? The human grinned, showing a set of alarmingly sharp teeth. Of course. Name's Sam. I'm a new exchange student from Earth. You look like you could use a friend. Dax glanced at the table. It was filled with aliens from across the galaxy, including a Zenovan hiding behind a potted plant. I'm Dax, he managed, settling into a seat. How are you finding the universe? Sam's eyes lit up, filled with a mixture of excitement and something a little terrifying. Oh man, it's amazing. Did you know some of your planets are made of diamonds? Humans back home would love to turn those into engagement rings. Engagement rings? A Stoichian at the table raised a brow. Yeah, it's this human tradition where we give shiny rocks to people we want to bond with for life. Works like a charm. The Zenovan whimpered from behind its plant. Feeling emboldened, Dax asked the question that had been nagging at him. Sam, is it true that humans avoid war out of mercy? The table went quiet. Even the usual hum of the cafeteria seemed to hush. Sam's smile softened. You've been talking to Professor Blorp, haven't you? Well, it's not exactly mercy. It's more like perspective. We've been through a lot, most of it our own doing. These days, we'd rather make friends than enemies. It's more fun that way. Less cleanup, too. A collective sigh of relief swept through the table. Besides, Sam added with a mischievous twinkle in his eye, why wage war when we can wage peace? You should see the chaos we can cause with a well-timed hug or compliment. To demonstrate, Sam stood up and shouted across the cafeteria, Hey Zlorax, your tentacles are looking especially shiny today. The kraken-like creature on the other side of the room blushed an array of purples, almost knocking over a few tables with its flustered tentacles. Dax couldn't help but laugh. Maybe Professor Blorp was right. Humans were terrifying, but in the most delightful way possible. A few weeks later, Dax and his new group of friends, including Sam, were inseparable. They'd survived everything from zero-gravity water balloon fights to translating human memes into various alien languages. Dax couldn't help but recount their adventures to a group of wide-eyed freshmen. But one of them asked, Aren't humans dangerous? Dax's mandibles clicked in amusement. Oh, absolutely. But they're dangerously fun. Did you know Sam once ate a sandwich that was illegal in 14 systems just because someone dared him? The freshman gasped. But before Dax could continue, an alarm blared. Unidentified spacecraft entering orbit. This is not a drill. While students panicked, Sam grinned. Dax, do you know what this means? That we're in serious trouble? No. It means we're about to make some new friends. And with that, Sam rushed out, eager to greet the unknown with a smile. Dax clicked his mandibles again. Maybe the universe wasn't ready for humans, but one thing was certain. It was definitely more fun with them around. And so, life with humans continued. An endless adventure filled with chaos, friendship, and the occasional defiance of physics. In a galaxy teeming with wonders, the most astonishing discovery might just be that your best friend was the species you once feared. As Sam would say, one small step for man, one giant leap for shenanigans. The alarm continued to wail across the university campus, and Sam's grin only widened as chaos erupted. Students scrambled in every direction, some trying to evacuate, others fainting where they stood, especially the Xenovans, who had a tendency to crumple at the slightest sign of danger. Dax watched, mandibles clicking nervously, as Sam practically bounced with excitement. Sam, Dax called out, scuttling after him. You do realize this might be an invasion, right? Sam slowed his pace just long enough to turn and flash another grin. Of course. That's why I'm excited. We might meet someone new, maybe even make a friend. Isn't that what this whole intergalactic exchange program is about? Dax's antennae twitched with uncertainty. Usually, meeting new species doesn't involve unidentified spacecraft and blaring alarms. But Sam was already racing ahead toward the university's landing bay. Dax, against his better judgment, followed. The landing bay was a massive, open-air expanse located on the southern edge of campus. It was typically used for welcoming dignitaries, exchange students, and the occasional cargo shipment. Now, it was a hive of activity as security forces swarmed, preparing for whatever was about to touch down. And in the middle of it all, a sleek, ominous-looking ship hovered above the platform, its dark metallic surface gleaming under the artificial lights. Dax could feel the tension in the air. His compound eyes flicked nervously between the security teams and the alien ship. It wasn't long before a ramp extended from the ship's underbelly, hissing as it touched the ground. A hush fell over the area, and all eyes turned toward the ship's entrance. Slowly, a figure emerged from the darkness, a tall, imposing being draped in a cloak of shimmering black, with a crown of glowing tendrils that floated around its head like ethereal flames. Its eyes, 3 of them, to be precise, glowed a menacing crimson. Well, this is dramatic, Sam whispered to Dax, who shushed him with a sharp click of his mandibles. The figure stepped forward, surveying the crowd with a regal, yet dangerous air. I am Zol'Vra, warlord of the outer reaches. It boomed, its voice resonating through the air with an almost palpable weight. I have come to this world seeking the one they call human. A collective murmur spread through the crowd. All eyes, many of them wide with confusion, shifted to Sam. Dax froze. "Sam," he whispered urgently, "why is the warlord of the outer reaches looking for you?" Sam scratched the back of his head, looking a little sheepish. "Well, you remember that time I sent a gift basket to the Aggression Nebula after that whole peace treaty thing?" Dax's antennae twitched wildly. "You sent what?" "Hey, it was a gesture of goodwill. You know, make friends, not war, and all that." Before Dax could respond, Zol'Vra's gaze locked onto Sam, who waved casually in return. The warlord's eyes narrowed as it descended the ramp, stopping directly in front of him. Zol'Vra's tendrils flared out menacingly as it spoke. "You," it growled, its voice low and dangerous, "are responsible for the downfall of my brother's empire." Sam blinked, genuinely surprised. "Your brother?" "Yes. Tyron, the great conqueror, ruler of the Aggression Nebula." "Oh," Sam said, realization dawning. "Tyron, the guy who learned how to make friendship bracelets? That's your brother." Zol'Vra's tendrils writhed angrily. "He was a fearsome warlord, a conqueror of worlds. Now he sits at home, knitting things." Sam looked genuinely puzzled. "Well, what's wrong with that? He's peaceful now. Everyone loves him. They're even hosting a bake sale." Zol'Vra's face darkened, his eyes glowing brighter. He was meant to rule the stars, not sell pastries. The tension in the landing bay escalated as the surrounding security teams tightened their grips on their weapons. Dax's mandibles clacked nervously. This was not going well. Before things could spiral out of control, Sam stepped forward, looking up at Zol'Vra with an expression of concern. "Hey, listen, I get it. You're upset. I didn't mean to ruin anything. But maybe you just need to talk it out. I mean, what's the real problem here? You miss your brother being a warmonger." Zol'Vra's glowing tendrils froze, as if the question caught him off guard. The warlord hesitated, his regal facade cracking slightly. "I miss our glory days. We were feared, respected. Now he sent me cupcakes." Sam nodded, his expression softening. "Sounds like you miss him, not just the glory." Zol'Vra blinked, his crimson eyes dimming slightly. "Perhaps I do." The entire landing bay watched, stunned, as Sam did what no other being had dared. He stepped forward and placed a hand on Zol'Vra's arm. "Hey, it's okay to miss the past, but it's also okay to let it go. There are other ways to bond, you know? You ever tried a karaoke night? Trust me, nothing says brotherly love like belting out some tunes together." Zol'Vra stood there, utterly speechless. For a moment, the warlord looked down at Sam's hand, then back at his glowing tendrils. "Karaoke," he repeated, as if testing the word. "Yeah," Sam grinned. "We could get the whole mild inconvenience nebula in on it. Make it a thing." Dax, still half hiding behind Sam, whispered, "Sam, you can't be serious." But Zol'Vra's posture had already shifted. The warlord's shoulders relaxed, and his once rigid tendrils now floated gently around his head. "Perhaps," he mused, "perhaps this karaoke you speak of is worth exploring." Sam clapped his hands together, beaming. "That's the spirit. You, me, and your brother will hit the stage and show the galaxy what intergalactic bonding looks like." Dax's antennae drooped in disbelief. This cannot be happening." As Zol'Vra turned to leave, a deep rumble echoed through the bay. "I will consider this karaoke, but do not think this is the end, human. The outer reaches do not forgive easily." With that, the warlord marched back up the ramp to his ship, which slowly ascended and disappeared into the sky. The landing bay fell into stunned silence, the security forces visibly baffled. Sam turned to Dax with a triumphant grin. "See? Another crisis averted." Dax, still in shock, could only manage a quiet, "I can't believe that worked." Sam patted him on the back. "Trust me, Dax. You just have to know how to talk to people. Sometimes, all it takes is a little understanding, and maybe a promise of karaoke." As the two friends walked back toward the cafeteria, Dax glanced at Sam. "What are we going to do if Zol'Vra actually invites us to karaoke?" Sam shrugged. "We'll cross that bridge when we get to it." But first, let's grab some lunch. I'm starving. Dax couldn't help but click his mandibles in amusement. The universe truly wasn't ready for humans, but he was starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, they were exactly what it needed. And as Sam led the way, cheerfully suggesting alien songs they could perform, Dax found himself smiling. After all, in a galaxy as unpredictable as this, perhaps the greatest surprise was how much fun it was to have a human by your side. It had only been a few days since Zol'Vra's visit, and yet the campus was still buzzing with the aftermath. Rumors about the warlord's unexpected interest in karaoke had spread like wildfire. Some students speculated that it was all a ploy for an invasion. Others thought Zol'Vra had gone soft. But for Dax, who had experienced the event firsthand, it was simply another bizarre day in the company of Sam, his unpredictable human friend. Dax was sitting in the cafeteria, picking at his nutrient cubes when Sam plopped down next to him, tray piled high with questionable food choices. "Hey, buddy, you won't believe what just happened," Sam said, flashing that all-too-familiar grin that usually preceded chaos. Dax clicked his mandibles wearily. "If it's anything like the last time you said that, I might not survive it." Sam ignored the comment and slid a hollow message across the table. "We got invited." Dax's compound eyes scanned the message and twitched. His antennae stood on end. "We what? Zol'Vra invited us to a karaoke showdown?" Sam nodded enthusiastically, stuffing a spoonful of mashed something or other into his mouth. "Yep. Apparently, it's a huge event in the outer reaches now. The whole thing's blown up into some kind of intergalactic spectacle. There's going to be ships from all over, live broadcasts, and a competition between the Aggression Nebula and the university." Dax stared at the hollow message, his mind racing. "Sam, this is a terrible idea. Zol'Vra's a warlord. He's not just going to sing and let things go. What if this is a trap?" Sam waved the concern away with a spoon. "Nah, he's chill now. Besides, it's not about war anymore, Dax. It's about showing the universe that we can settle our differences with a microphone instead of a missile." Dax sighed, mandibles clicking anxiously. "But we're not singers. This could be humiliating." Sam leaned in, eyes gleaming with excitement. "Humiliation? Buddy, this is an opportunity. We're going to represent Earth and the entire university. Think of the bragging rights. Besides, we'll be performing as a group. You, me, and the rest of the gang. We got this." Dax groaned, his exoskeleton rattling as his anxiety mounted. He had always known humans were reckless, but Sam had a special talent for dragging him into the most absurd situations. "Fine," he relented, feeling as though he had no choice. "But if this turns into another intergalactic incident, I'm holding you personally responsible." Sam grinned, already bouncing out of his seat. "Deal. I'm going to get everyone together to rehearse. Meet at the student lounge in an hour." Dax didn't even get a chance to respond before Sam bolted out of the cafeteria, undoubtedly on his way to rally the rest of their misfit crew. Left alone with his thoughts, Dax's mind buzzed with all the ways this could go horribly wrong. An hour later, Dax found himself in the student lounge, surrounded by a motley crew of their friends. There was Merva, the pink-scaled amphibian who communicated through subharmonic clicks, Zlix, a blob-like Xenovan who still trembled every time Sam was around, and Vree, a Stoin who had mastered the art of brooding without actually speaking much. Sam stood at the front of the group, beaming like the galaxy's most enthusiastic band leader. "All right, everyone, I've been thinking about this, and I've come up with the perfect song. It's going to blow the competition out of the water." Merva's throat sacs pulsed with skepticism. "What song?" she asked in her soft, vibrating voice. Sam tapped on a holographic display, and the room was instantly filled with the opening chords of a song that sent a chill through Dax's exoskeleton. It was Earth's infamous pop anthem, "Livin' on a Solar Flare." The song was infamous for its wild tempo changes and ear-piercing high notes. Dax's antennae twitched wildly in protest. "You want us to sing this?" Sam grinned, unbothered by the rising tension in the room. "Absolutely. It's a crowd pleaser. It'll get everyone fired up." Zlix, the jelly-like alien, trembled so violently that part of him oozed off the chair. I don't think I can hit those notes." Vree, who had been silently brooding in the corner, finally spoke. His gravelly voice rumbled through the room. "We are going to die." Sam clapped his hands, trying to rally the group. No, we're not going to die. We just need to practice. We'll work on harmonizing and, most importantly, confidence. Zol'Vra won't know what hit him." Dax shook his head. This was madness. "Sam, you can't just throw us into an intergalactic singing competition with a warlord. We're not even remotely ready for this." Sam grinned mischievously. "Then we'll just have to get ready." Over the next few days, the group practiced tirelessly. Sam, true to his nature, managed to convince half the student body to help them rehearse. The student lounge became a whirlwind of mismatched voices, awkward choreography, and a variety of alien instruments no one quite knew how to play. Despite the chaos, something magical began to happen. Dax noticed that with each rehearsal, the group started to gel. Merva's subharmonic tones added a haunting layer to the song. Slick's anxiety faded long enough for his trembles to blend into a surprisingly effective vibrato. Even Vree, with his stoic nature, lent a steady bass that grounded the entire performance. By the time they had their final rehearsal, Dax realized they might actually stand a chance. But there was still one lingering doubt. He pulled Sam aside after practice, mandibles clicking nervously. "Sam, what if Zol'Vra doesn't play fair? He's a warlord. This whole karaoke thing might just be a cover for something more dangerous." Sam rested a hand on Dax's shoulder, his expression uncharacteristically serious. "Dax, I know it sounds crazy, but I honestly believe Zol'Vra's just looking for something different. People, no matter where they come from, change when they're given a chance to see things from another perspective. We've already seen that with Tyron. Maybe Zol'Vra just needs that same nudge." Dax's antennae drooped slightly. "And if you're wrong?" Sam's grin returned, full of reckless optimism. "Then we'll just have to wing it. That's what humans do best." The day of the karaoke showdown arrived, and the arena was packed with spectators from across the galaxy. Holographic projectors broadcasted the event to millions of screens in distant star systems. The stage was a colossal structure, complete with pyrotechnics, floating platforms, and gravity-defying light displays. It was far more extravagant than anything Dax had imagined. Sam, Dax, and the rest of the group waited backstage, nerves buzzing in the air. Zol'Vra's ship had already arrived, and the warlord was preparing with his entourage. Dax peeked around the corner and spotted the warlord standing at the other end of the stage, his glowing tendrils writhing with anticipation. "This is it," Sam said, bouncing on the balls of his feet. "We got this, guys." Dax tried to suppress his anxiety. "We're really doing this." As the announcer's voice boomed across the arena, signaling the start of the competition, Sam turned to the group with a grin. "All right, team, let's show the galaxy what we're made of." And with that, they stepped onto the stage, ready to face the music, literally and figuratively. The universe wasn't ready for what was about to unfold. But then again, the universe never was when it came to humans.